It's time Mercy stopped being the best-kept secret in higher education.
Every day, I get up and reach out to these students to tell them what a life-changing opportunity higher education can be.
My professors, they're on 24/7 on their emails. They answer me back quickly.
The PAC mentors have been there every step of the way.
Communication skills skyrocketed.
They made me feel understood.
We've made it our business to empower generations of learners to break new ground, achieve forward momentum, and create lasting impact that ripples beyond themselves.
I transferred into Mercy and I'm a pre-med psychology major.
I've actually never experienced this level of support anywhere else in any other academic setting like I have here.
At Mercy, that has been our mission for almost 75 years, to reimagine higher education, to bring it to those who may have otherwise been left behind.
I don't think I was going to go to college if I didn't get the Mercy Scholars Award, because I just didn't have the money. They're accomplishing giving these students an education and giving them a chance, just like I was given. Because all I needed was a chance.
To help them write their own story.
Me coming here to America, my mom having me here, gave me access, and I took advantage of the opportunities. And it goes to show that just because we come from a low-income family or the color of your skin may be darker, if you train the talents that you have, then you can be a graduate.
The first-timers, the second-chancers, the night shifters, the on-callers, free thinkers, family breadwinners.
I'm not the traditional college student. When I first got to Mercy College, my daughter was born. So I was stuck between going to school and taking care of my daughter, studying for classes, and actually working full-time to pay for rent, pay for being her expenses, my expenses. I think the overall education and experience that I got from it actually developed me to become a better vet student and become a better clinician.
The people who want to earn a degree, change their direction, bring something back to their communities.
Especially coming from a lower income, inner city kid. So when I came here, I was hoping that I'll find leaders and students and teachers that would push me, and that's exactly what I found.
My behavioral science major professors, they were amazing. They changed my life in a way. They showed me a different perspective of society and community and wanting to actually be more passionate and giving back to the community.
And now, as we've helped more and more students stay in, all the way to graduation, this mission is more important than ever.
When I found that Mercy had a PA program, that just made me even more overjoyed that I can continue to serve my community in the Bronx one day.
That's why we're expanding our reach, adding new services, new programs, new schools, and new ways to bring education to even more people.
I am a part of the radio, TV production program. Just really study my craft, get better at it, and I think that coming here to Mercy was the best decision.
The fact that they have a 4+1 program for teaching.
I'm more of a hands-on person, and going to Belize kind of put that piece together for me, because learning from textbooks is not the same as actually doing it out in the field.
It's time to stand proud, not only of what we've done, but what we're going to do.
Being in news, I'm behind the scenes, but oftentimes I'm the only woman behind the scenes and the only woman of color. And it's been a lot, but it's been so rewarding. And I feel like the short amount of time that I was at Mercy has truly prepared me for that.
We were made for this.
We listen to our students. We are creative and flexible in finding new ways to help them achieve their goals.
Our students were made for this.
Makes me feel great. I know that all the hard work I put into these past 4 years have finally paid off.
College makes me feel like I can do anything if I put my mind to it.
Welcome to Mercy University!
Welcome to Mercy University!
Welcome to Mercy University!
Welcome to Mercy University! Go back! Woo!
Welcome to Mercy University.
Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for the Yonkers Fire, Pipe, and Drums. Ladies and gentlemen, momento. Ladies and gentlemen, señoras y señores, muy buenos días and welcome to the 89th Commencement exercises of Mercy University School of Education and School of Liberal Arts. My name is Dr. Eva Fernandez. I'm the Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. Our program today includes distinguished student and guest speakers and the conferral of degrees on our graduates. Will you please rise for the national anthem?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Sanchez and Sayer Smith, thank you and please be seated. For the enjoyment of all, we ask that students and audience remain in the arena until the conclusion of the ceremony. It is now my distinct honor to introduce the 13th President of Mercy University, Dr. Susan L. Parrish. President Parrish.
Thank you, Provost Fernandez. Good morning. Okay, what is going on here? Good morning. Thank you. Welcome to the 89th Commencement of Mercy University. Welcome families, welcome friends, loved ones. Welcome to my staff and faculty colleagues, and welcome class of 2024. I'm so excited to be here. Let's get this started. Are you all excited? Yeah. All right. So I would like to begin by thanking the people who are with us who have served in the armed forces, whether active duty military, veterans, or reservists. Please stand and be recognized. We are all so grateful for your service to our country. As I look out across the audience, I am so moved by your excitement. This is my first commencement as president of Mercy University, and what an honor it is for me to be here. I cannot wait to personally congratulate each of you as you cross the stage. But first, I want to share how proud we all are of what you have achieved. Commencement represents the culmination of a journey you've taken here at Mercy University. Having spent time with many of you, I have had a front row seat in watching the amazing people you've become. Not only because of the time that you've spent inside our classrooms, but for what you've achieved outside the classroom as well. Many of you have faced significant challenges during your time with us, but when faced with those obstacles and barriers, you persevered and you triumphed. In the course of your time at Mercy, each of you became a true maverick. You excelled in your internship such that you received a job after graduation. You worked with classmates on difficult group projects. You were a tutor, a Mercy ambassador, an orientation leader, an RA. You earned the Model UN's Outstanding Delegation Award. You wrote for the Impact student newspaper and won the New York Press Association's Best College Newspaper Award. Yeah. You were part of several ECC championships and NCAA tournament appearances over the last 4 years. You wrote, you volunteered in the community, you performed, you did difficult field placements, you started businesses, and you did all this while achieving your educational goals. You stretched yourself beyond what you may have thought was even possible. Time and again, each of you has demonstrated that you are a maverick. None of us, however, achieves greatness on our own. Graduates, you've accomplished your goals with tremendous support from many people. I'd like you to stand up, turn around, face your families, and thank them for the wonderful support that they have given you. Families, thank you for entrusting these students to us. We return them to you in good stead, and we are appreciative of the partnership we have in supporting them. And of course, there is another group of people that I want to thank on this most special of days. If I can ask from our faculty and staff to please rise wherever you're seated as you're able. Graduates, let's thank them too. Our faculty and staff have supported you graduates at every step of your journey, from when you were deciding to make Mercy your academic home, securing financial aid, selecting your classes, to finishing your final exams and papers. Was that 2 nights ago? At Mercy, our faculty and staff have a profound, unwavering commitment to your success. And faculty and staff colleagues, I also want to express my own personal gratitude to each of you. Throughout my first year here at Mercy, you have awed me with your commitment to our mission, and I thank each of you for guiding these graduates along their journey and helping them to achieve their goals. I'm so proud to be part of this amazing community. So graduates, you are about to embark on your next journey. But know that you do not leave us behind. You are a part of a vibrant, supportive community of Maverick alumni. Whether you are continuing your education, starting a new job, or advancing your career, we are here to support you. You've received an excellent education at Mercy, and you are graduating into a world that needs your talent, your education, your intelligence, and your critical and strategic thinking. And I thank you for demonstrating that when people come together for a common purpose, there is no limit to our human potential. Each of you can embody Mercy's motto, to be consumed in service. You have been educated here to lead and to serve. Embrace this responsibility. Our world desperately needs mavericks who will lead in our communities with courage, with conviction, and with compassion. One of my favorite poets is the late activist and author Audre Lorde. I'd like to close by sharing from her work, Sister Outsider. And she said, "When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid." Audre Lorde urged each of us to be courageous. What makes courage so vital in this moment is our responsibility to one another. You've already proven you have the courage. Now go forth into the next phase of your life with that same courage and lead us in creating a world where every single person has the opportunity to achieve their dreams. Again, my most sincere congratulations to the class of 2024. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, President Parrish. It is my pleasure now to introduce Ms. Angelica Segarra from the School of Education. Ms. Segarra will offer the graduate student address on behalf of the class of 2024. Please put your hands together for Ms. Segarra.
Good morning, esteemed faculty, staff, and guests, and congratulations to my fellow graduates of the class of 2024. Thank you all for joining us here today in celebrating the culmination of our academic achievement as we all have been able to reach our goals through hard work, dedication, and perseverance. This has been a long journey, and I know each graduate here, including myself, is grateful for the support of our family and friends that have continued to encourage us through each step of the way. I am grateful to have my daughter here with me, who I know is as happy as I am that I won't be on the computer for hours late at night anymore. I hope she understands that all those late nights were to get to this very moment. Today marks a significant milestone in our lives. As we stand ready for the next chapter, it's essential to reflect on our journey thus far and the path that lies ahead. My time at Mercy has been transformative. I decided to change careers when I realized I loved working with students in the classroom. I was hesitant and uncertain about myself and whether I would be a decent educator. But luckily, my best friend encouraged me to leave my comfort zone and follow what made me happy. And my sister never stopped believing in my potential. I am grateful that I listened to her advice because it has led me to where I am today as a full-time special education teacher with the New York City Department of Education. I have met amazing people along the way who have encouraged me to keep going and reminded me why educators are so important in the world. Like Dr. Quackenbush, who helped to show me that when you're passionate about teaching, your students become passionate about learning. And that is the lasting impact that we want to have on our students. I have had the pleasure to learn from many other professors who shared their wisdom and experiences that I will take with me. Throughout my studies here, and as I've transitioned into the classroom, I have kept one quote in mind that I would like to share with you all. The late Rita Pearson, an educator and advocate, once said, "Every child deserves a champion, an adult who will never give up on them, who understands the power of connection and insists that they become the best that they can possibly be. I choose to be a teacher who advocates for my students, makes them feel loved, and helps them love learning as much as I love teaching them. Every day, I choose to be their champion." Some of you are about to enter the classroom for the first time. Some of you have had the opportunity to start working already. But as you step inside the classroom, I hope that every morning as you greet your students, you choose to be a champion for them. Each of us have had a teacher in our lives who have made an impact to help shape who we are, some more than others. And I want you to be that teacher for your students. If you did not have that experience, then I need you to enter the classroom every day and be that teacher who you needed growing up. Our careers are not easy. We chose this path because of the impact it carries with the potential to shape our students' minds and futures. As an educator, there has been nothing more rewarding than seeing my students grow and make progress no matter how small. To my fellow graduates, our journey does not end here. It has only just begun. Let us never lose sight of the passion that brought us to this moment. I offer you all my profound congratulations as today we join our fellow educators and colleagues ready to make our mark on the world. May your journey be filled with success, fulfillment, and countless moments of joy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Segarra. President Parrish will now preside at the conferring of the honorary degree for the School of Education. Assisting is Mercy University trustee, Dr. Cindy Lopez.
Dr. Raymond Sanchez, as superintendent of the public schools of the Tarrytowns, you create a framework for achievement for thousands of students. You have maintained a solid focus on the instructional core and made data-driven decisions to upgrade curriculum, set instructional direction, and strengthen overall services. You started as a classroom teacher and then progressed through building curriculum and district leadership roles before being appointed as superintendent of the Ossining Union Free School District in 2013. You have been widely applauded for your efforts in promoting instructional equity, closing achievement gaps, and initiating programs that encourage community involvement. Your commitment to meeting the needs of children and their families is further reflected in your vast community work, serving on the boards of numerous organizations, including 914 Cares, Jacob Burns Film Center, and Neighbors Link. In recognition of your exemplary leadership, vision, and outreach, you have earned numerous awards, including the Distinguished Service Award from the Lower Hudson Council of School Superintendents, recognition from the Child Care Council of Westchester, and you've been named a superintendent to watch by the National School Public Relations Association. A leader among your colleagues, you served as president of the Lower Hudson Council of School Superintendents, president of Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES, and are currently a regional delegate for the New York State Association of Latino Superintendents and Administrators, and are also on the executive board of the New York State Council of School Superintendents. Mercy is also grateful for your service as an adjunct faculty member and as a member of our School of Education Advisory Board. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the State of New York and the university's Board of Trustees, I confer upon you, Raymond Sanchez, the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, with all rights and privileges thereunto pertaining. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Raymond Sanchez to give the commencement address. Dr. Sanchez.
Good morning, everybody. Before I get started, please join me in giving all our graduates one more time a round of applause. So good morning, President Parrish, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, families, graduates, future educators. I am honored to share this day with you. And in the few minutes I've been asked to speak to you, I hope to share a thought or two about how to move with courage and conviction in the next chapter of your life. In his autobiography, the legendary blues guitarist B.B. King said, "I struggle with words. Never could express myself the way I wanted. My mind fights my mouth, and thoughts get stuck in my throat." Now, BB was an extraordinarily expressive guitar player, and he communicated a lot of what he was thinking and feeling through his instrument. But he also was obviously a wise man whose self-professed language limitations bellied certain truths. None more than when he wrote, and I quote, "The beautiful thing about learning is that nobody can take it away from you." Let me repeat that. The beautiful thing about learning is that nobody can take that away from you. I hope that resonates with you the same way that it has with me, like a guitar string that continues to vibrate with timeless truth and meaning. Because today, graduation day, is a celebration of learning. It is a coronation of sorts because you are being acknowledged for having accrued knowledge and experience, but make no mistake, at the core of this personal and collective celebration are two important truths. First, that as a society we prioritize learning as a fundamental to our evolution. And second, especially as B.B. King seemingly intended it, It is the power of learning. All learning, whether academic or experiential, is personal and practically speaking, insoluble. Well, you may say this sounds like a graduation speech. Indeed it does. Learning is about societal and personal growth. Pretty standard stuff. But let's look for a moment as to why these truths have never been more important. At various points in the past 100 years or so, a technological development was identified as ushering in rapid change, unforeseen challenges, uncertainty, even fear. Think of the automobile, computer, the iPhone, and today, artificial intelligence. These circumstances test our resilience, adaptability, and underscore our vulnerabilities. There is only one antidote: the continual acquisition of knowledge through the power of intentional and purposeful learning. That's right, I'm here to tell you that even though we are here to celebrate your achievements, your learning trajectory is only in its early stages. And we need you. Our schools need you. Our classrooms need you. Our society needs you, and our world needs you. Because if you stop learning, our challenges and uncertainties will grow more acute. I know it sounds exhausting, and you might be asking yourself, why does he think I have to solve the world's problems? Don't worry, you don't bear the weight of the world. Perhaps you can think about it differently. It is undeniable that the human species has evolved and advanced so quickly because beginning as toddlers, we start by asking why. And for those of you that know young children, you know it's asked a lot. A lot. It can be exhausting. But this curiosity powers learning. Einstein called himself passionately curious. His larger point is that lifelong learner is full of questions. Perhaps not as a matter solely of understanding, certainly not as a matter of conspiracy, but simply to ask the question and the next in the quest to learn. When we willfully stop asking why, or only allow others, even machines, to ask questions, we will spell our doom. So you may never enter another classroom as a student, but as long as you're asking why, you will be a lifelong learner you were built to be. So I leave you with 3 personal maxims. 1, seek truth first, not satisfaction. It can feel at times as if part of our world have leaned towards far in the direction of acceptance of things as they are. To me, it is impossible to take solace if one isn't comfortable with basic truths that one has established through, you guessed it, a questioning of the status quo, or those who would simply tell you to accept things the way they are. 2, always understand the motivations of those who are trying to convince you of something, as it may color your perceptions of their words. Our culture, especially, is focused on the rhetoric of telling individuals what is best for them. Information matters. Motivation does too. Know the whole story, not just parts of what you hear. And 3rd, listen to your heart as it tells you to accept and celebrate fascinating diversity of human experience and how learning deepens our connection. And if your heart isn't telling you this, then you need to start a conversation with yourself. Graduates, congratulations. I wish you all the best and enjoy your graduation ceremony.
Thank you, Dr. Sanchez, and congratulations once again to you. Enhorabuena. It is my pleasure now to introduce Ms. Kayla Johnson Bustamante, who will offer the undergraduate student address on behalf of the School of Liberal Arts, class of 2024. Ms. Johnson Bustamante.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kyla Johnson Bustamante, and today I am receiving my bachelor's degree in mathematics and computer science. Before anything else, I'd like to thank the Lord for being my strength and motivation in all things. Thank you also to the faculty of the School of Liberal Arts for bestowing me with the honor of being this year's undergraduate commencement speaker. My time at Mercy University has gifted me many invaluable experiences and opportunities. One example that I am most proud of is a research presentation at the Nebraska Conference for Undergraduate Women in Mathematics. Not only was it an honor to be accepted to present and receive funding for this talk, the research I presented meant a lot to me as well. This presentation was done on behalf of my group from the Summer Undergraduate Math Research at Yale program. National conferences and funded research at Yale University, these are things I never would have imagined. It took me 6 years to get my degree. In that time, I have changed so extremely that I'm sure most people I knew would not recognize me. During my freshman year, while attending a school far away from home, I was hardly eating and abusing drugs and alcohol so severely that it led to me almost getting kicked out of school. After this, I cleaned up my act enough to get by, but felt my full potential was never being achieved. This all came to a head during the spring 2021 semester. I was a junior, living very far away from home, feeling very lonely, and relying on substances as my only comfort. On February 11th, 2021, I almost killed myself. After a week in the hospital, I decided it was time to go back home and make some serious changes. That's when I transferred to Mercy University. The transition was rough. I was getting my mental health together, adjusting to living back at home, and doing more schoolwork than I ever had during the last 3 years. I turned into someone my old self would have called a loser. Nonetheless, I am extremely thankful for this phase because it led to many great things. Since transferring to Mercy University, I participated in 5 mathematical research projects, presented at 7 conferences, started my own t-shirt business, and much more that at one point felt like nonsense fantasies. I knew that Mercy was the right step to continue following my passions in mathematics, but the results were beyond anything I could have anticipated. Although I never imagined a mental breakdown, getting sober, and all else in between being part of the journey, I wouldn't change a single thing. These things will carry me through even tougher times when I feel like giving up. I committed myself to getting this degree and didn't let anything stop me. And I look forward to continuing this journey. I am proud to have been accepted to the Smith College Postbaccalaureate program in mathematics this summer, and I plan to go on to earn my graduate degree in the future. I am overjoyed to have made it to this point. Getting your degree is hard, so I cannot continue without saying, I am so extremely proud of you all. Every single graduate here made a commitment to themselves and followed through on it. There were countless opportunities to quit. However, you chose to keep going. Let this achievement carry you through the hard times in life. If you can accomplish this, then you can complete the next difficult chapter as well. Finally, I'd like to thank my friends and family for supporting me through it all. The love of every single one of you has allowed me to become a better woman. Thank you also to my mentors. Last of all, thank you to everyone at Mercy University. This school has given me so many opportunities and brought me to new heights. I firmly believe that I wouldn't have received the same support, mentorship, guidance, and research experiences at any other university. Congratulations to you all, class of 2024. May God bless your steps and keep a shining beacon of hope in your darkest times.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson Bustamante. Congratulations. Enhorabuena to you. It is now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Esteban Figueroa Jr., who will offer the graduate student address on behalf of the School of Liberal Arts, class of 2024. Mr. Figueroa.
Good morning. Good morning to all. Good morning to all the faculty, staff, and administrators who have helped to realize this momentous occasion. To all the family, friends, and loved ones in the audience here to share in this special moment that could not have been possible without their love, support, and motivation, including my own, who every day redefine my meaning of joy. And to my fellow graduating Mavericks, give yourselves a hand. Whose hard work has culminated in an incredible achievement. I stand here today with immeasurable pride in being part of this graduating class, the first of Mercy University, to have been guided here by an incredible cadre of academics and in being selected as commencement speaker for the graduates. Earning a graduate degree means becoming part of a discipline. It means earning the right and the responsibility to shape the futures of our various fields of study. But despite the gravity of that statement, when I reminisce on my studies at Mercy in the years to come, what I remember most fondly is that while our professors held us to rigorous academic standards while guiding us to this moment, their classes never felt difficult, but rather affably challenging. And in rising to those challenges, I found true fulfillment in my studies. In my classes with Dr. Boria Sachs, who taught how the literature of the past echoes through the ages. In my classes with Dr. Sean Dugan, with whom I investigated the intricacies of literary suspense and mystery, and who helped me craft my graduate thesis. In my studies with Dr. Celia Rusig-Vasil, with whom I explored literary works of Latino artists from around the globe and climbed the heights of Mount Picchu. And Dr. Donald Morales, who turned my gaze toward the vibrant, indomitable beauty of the literature of the Afro-Caribbean world. Lastly, I found fulfillment in the classes of Dr. Christopher Lotz, director of the MA in English Literature program, whose guidance has been the biggest contributor to my academic success, and who demonstrated, through examination of the canonical and the unorthodox, that resonance in literature is where the reader finds it. Today I reached a destination that involved a very long and winding academic path that began at a middle school book fair. It was a token box set that showed me the difference between reading a book and getting wondrously lost in it. Fortunately, I was just wise enough in my youth to realize that, with the proper guidance and an open mind, you can get wondrously lost in anything you read. And I've been indulging my wanderlust ever since. Through it all, from dropping out of college to join the Army, coming home to odd jobs as everything from a crisis interventionist to a gymnastics coach, until starting a family finally motivated me to dive once more into the breach. My passion for the written word kept my dreams of finding my place in academia alive. More than anything, no matter what the field of study, those unyielding dreams of academia are what we, today's graduates, all have in common. Today marks the completion of the journey that makes all other journeys possible. And while this journey took hard work, dedication, and sacrifice, it was inspired by our dreams. And now that we know our dreams have the power to shape our realities, we must never stop dreaming. May those dreams be grand, profoundly beautiful, and filled with exciting visions of the future. And above all, may they always be a reminder of the greatest lesson learned from this commencement, that no dreams are out of reach. Mavericks, I wish you Godspeed on your next endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Figueroa. President Parrish will now preside at the conferring of the honorary degree for the School of Liberal Arts. Assisting is Mercy University trustee Carlos Pasi.
Ms. Sonia Manzano, you have dedicated your life to educating and entertaining children. Raised in the South Bronx, your career as an actress began while attending the High School for the Performing Arts and Carnegie Mellon University. You played the beloved character Maria on Sesame Street for 44 years. Positively affecting the lives of millions of parents and millions of children, including me. That iconic role earned you 2 Emmy Award nominations, as well as the National Academy of Arts and Sciences Lifetime Achievement Daytime Emmy in 2016. As a writer for the show, you took home 15 Emmys and received the 2022 Beacon Award from PBS. You are an advisor for the literary New York institution Symphony Space and regularly read for their adult literacy program, All Right. Your most recent accomplishment was creating a new children's program, Alma's Way, for PBS Kids. It has won 2 Imagine Awards for Best Youth Programming, a 2022 Emmy nomination, and a 2023 NAACP Image Award nomination. You are a popular and accomplished author of children and young adult books, including The Revolution of Evelyn Serrano, Becoming Maria, Love and Chaos in the South Bronx, Miracle on 133rd Street, and No Dogs Allowed, which has been turned into a children's musical. You have written for the Peabody Award-winning children's series Little Bill and a parenting column for the Sesame Workshop. Your latest novel, Coming Up Cuban, is set in 1959 and follows the lives of 4 children who represent different intersections of race and class during the Cuban Revolution. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the State of New York and Mercy University's Board of Trustees, it is my honor to confer upon you, Sonia Manzano, the degree of Doctor of Fine Arts, honoris causa, with all rights and privileges thereunto appertaining. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Sonia Manzano to give our commencement address. Dr. Manzano.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. It's a real pleasure for me to be here. I think that graduations continue to be my favorite family outing, so thank you very much for including me in yours. And I have to say to Kayla, I will do my very best to follow in your footsteps. Thank you for your words. I find it appropriate at this moment to share a few words from the original Sesame Street proposal, and that's the document that was composed to give to the Ford Foundation to get the funds to create the show. And it explains the intent of Sesame Street. I quote, "It is becoming obvious that no one knows what the world is going to be like when the time comes for the younger to live in it. So perhaps the kindest thing we can do is to try not to burden them with the quaint details of today's beliefs and customs, but just attempt to get across a few principles of how things interact, what is basic in human life, and to acquaint them with as thorough as possible a cross-section of person, places, and things as they now stand," unquote. Those early creators of Sesame Street felt it was their job to give children the tools they needed to create the society that they wanted to live in. Well, those are great words to live by, and they might be even more important today. Your education here at Mercy University has given you the tools to create the world that you want to live in. Now, doing that is indeed a little harder than it used to be, because these days, the world keeps changing faster than we could have imagined, at least much faster than I could have imagined. So how do we prepare for a world we cannot count on staying the same? I think it would be best to try and see things as they are, not in the ways you think they should be or in the ways you would have wanted or expected them to be. I think this is a time when you must trust your own instincts, because there's no rule or playbook to follow. That's not easy to do. Trusting your instincts means you must bring your whole life experience to the table. People often praise me for overcoming a difficult childhood on my way to becoming a tax-paying, contributing member of society. But I never overcame my childhood. I never put it on the back burner. It's still with me. Instead, I used it. I remembered it. If I was successful being Maria on Sesame Street, it was because I never forgot where I came from. I never forgot how disappointing it was to watch hours and hours of television and never see anybody who looked like me or lived in the same kind of neighborhood that I lived in or talked like me on television. I remember that I felt invisible, and I didn't want children to feel that way today. In my new show on PBS Kids, Alma's Way, I examine critical thinking. And if that show is successful, it's because I remembered failing in elementary school because I lacked critical thinking skills. Alma's Way sets out to teach children how to separate one idea from another and think critically. But perhaps the best example of being and using who you are is when the great Puerto Rican actor Raul Julia, who you might remember as his popular turn as the character Gomez in the Addams Family movie franchise, was asked if his Puerto Rican accent ever stood in his way. His answer, "Are you kidding? My accent is not a handicap. It's my weapon." You are all unique in your life experience, and you must never forget that. Indeed, it will prove to be your salvation. It's perfect that I'm addressing both the School of Liberal Arts and the School of Education. The two disciplines are right up my alley. To the graduates in the School of Liberal Arts, these days, your artistry and creativity might be one of the most important things society needs. I'm always amazed at how the arts manages to put people on higher ground, whether it's the boogaloo music that grew out of the deteriorating South Bronx when I was coming up in the late 1950s, which I believed paved the way for salsa music, or the hip hop that grew out of the Bronx more recently. Art makes us find a way to see ourselves outside of whatever drama or storms we might be going through. Art helps us see and manipulate our futures. The education of the young is certainly something that I have been involved with for many years. It's a field in constant need of new blood and enthusiasm. Many people have asked me how it was possible for me to stay on Sesame Street for over 44 years. A reason I was able to stay on that show so long was that every generation had a new set of problems to overcome, thereby giving me another opportunity to do right by them. That, and of course, being in love with the Muppets. I always remember that kids are not empty vessels to be filled with information. They have information. They have experiences that are different from others. I get a lot out of writing for children, working with them, because they bring their own thoughts to the table. That's why you always hear parents screech all the time, "Where did you get such an idea? Who told you to do that? Who put that idea in your head?" It all came from them. And so, remember, as educators, you don't have to take kids all the way. You just have to point them in a certain direction and let them fly. Like Miss Pellman, my elementary school teacher, did for me when she took me to see West Side Story, the movie, the first one, the good one. I was thrilled to see my neighborhood in the movies. It gave me an understanding of what art was. It was taking the banal and making it beautiful. Or Mr. Gitterman, the teacher who told me my mother should read to me every night. I remember relating that to my overwhelmed mother. She shrieked, pulling her hair, saying, "Don't I got enough to do? Tell them we don't have any books." When I shared that with Mr. Gitterman, he said, "She doesn't need books. Tell her to tell you stories of her life." And there began a series of conversations with my mother. She told me what it was like to be an orphan in Depression-era Puerto Rico. Suddenly, I saw her in a new light. She was brave and strong and brilliant. So it will be with the children you come in contact with as their educators. You don't have to take them all the way. You simply have to point them in a certain direction, and as I said, watch them fly. We are all teachers. It does take a village. And don't forget, we have power. When I first got on Sesame Street, I noticed the neighborhood fruit cart had the usual bananas and oranges that one might expect to see. But I thought if it was Sesame Street, and Sesame Street was a diverse neighborhood, the fruit cart would have plátanos and yautía and coconuts and collard greens and other foods that a diversity of people ate. I recall nervously bringing this up to the producers. After all, I was 20 years old, just got there. What did I know about television? And guess what? The very next day, the desired foods were on the cart. So I can proudly say that I diversified the first fruit cart on television. Thank you. It's silly, of course, but an example of how someone using the little bit of power that they have. So I would encourage you, look for the power that you have and use it. You might be overwhelmed at times. I know it's easy for us to be overwhelmed. When I get overwhelmed writing a book and I doubt my talent, I remember the writer who said that writing a book is like driving on a foggy night when you can only see as far as the headlights. You don't have to see the whole distance. You can just keep going the distance you can see, and you'll eventually finish the journey. Now, I didn't read the very last sentence of the Sesame Street proposal that I read when I began my comments after the proposal said we must acquaint them with as thorough a cross-section as possible of persons, places, and things as they now stand. Well, after that, the very last sentence says, after this, we can only give them a pat on the shoulder and wish them well. And that's what I want to say to you all this morning. I want to give you a universal pat on the shoulder and say buena suerte. And once again, thank you very much for including me as you embark on your journey. Gracias.
Dr. Manzano, muchísimas gracias and congratulations to you. And now, graduates of the class of 2024, it's your turn. President Parrish will preside over the conferring of the degrees. For the safety and the comfort of all, we request that families and friends remain seated during this conferral of the degrees. In the interest of time and safety, we also ask that students refrain from taking selfies or photos while crossing the stage. President Parrish, I have the unique honor and pleasure and privilege to present those students who have been certified by the registrar and by the faculty as having completed all the requirements as established by the state of New York for awarding of the following degrees: Master of Science, Advanced Certificates. At this time, I would like to invite Dr. Eric Martone, Dean of the School of Education, to call the candidates forward to receive their degrees.
Thank you, Dr. Fernandez. At this time, we will recognize the candidates for graduate degrees from the School of Education. Congratulations, graduates.
Jovice Robinson Brown. Barbara Louis Jean, with distinction. Esmeralda Hernandez, with distinction. Delania Escano. Joseph Lampkin, with distinction. Tara Lockwood, with distinction. Michelle Arce.
Carolyn Lara Zapatel, with distinction.
Karen A. McPherson. Tyra Registre, with distinction. Jamila Burma. Samantha Lynn Massey, with distinction. Mercedes E. Herrera. Magdalena Vasquez. Catherine Eileen Clark, with distinction. Sean Marie Naughton Murray. Stephanie Jackson, with distinction. Damaris Rodriguez, with distinction. Justine C. Toussaint, with distinction. Marie Rodriguez. Melissa Ortiz, with distinction. Alma Mitai, with distinction. Marjana Wallert. Elizabeth Rivera. Siba S. Tawil, with distinction. Angelica Segarra, with distinction. Jennifer S. San Diego, with distinction. And Elise Rodriguez. Michael A. Polino, with distinction. Melissa Velez, with distinction. Janeris Marmalejos, with distinction. Rita S. Massey. Jessica Shante Rodriguez. Cherie Johnson. Lenny Francisca Quevedo Encarnacion Morgan, with distinction. Nadine Reyna McHenry, with distinction. Michael Anthony Lotto, with distinction. Lindsay Hurling, with distinction. Olga Baron Samoylova. Athena Benson, with distinction. Rochelle G. Clark, with distinction. Delia Conlon, with distinction. Karen Lynn Jordan, with distinction. Nina Kristen Perez, with distinction. Tiffany Annalisa Ramos. Melissa Bauer, with distinction. Caroline Singer, with distinction. Marissa Gilbert. Andrew Mesquita, with distinction. Jaylene K. Romero Grados, with distinction. Brianna M. Fernandez, with distinction. Sarah R. Hopkins, with distinction. Jumilka M. Polanco Vasquez, with distinction. Eudales E. Descent, with distinction. Denise Jennifer Sanchez Rojas, with distinction. Amri Jade Rodriguez, with distinction. Gabriela Eliza Arroyo, with distinction. Amanda C. Zalesny. Brittany Graham, with distinction. Bariza Coelho. Alexandra Moseson, with distinction. Florinda Bushpepa, with distinction. Brianna Inabi, with distinction. Malika Kabin, with distinction. Dana Jones, with distinction. Iriani Vargas. Jacqueline Ripolone. Arlenis Quesada. Michelle Gillian. Adriana Aceto, with distinction. Nichelle Bird, with distinction. Tiffany Dominique Lewis, with distinction. Kristen Marina Shepis, with distinction. Lauren Ashley Trentham, with distinction. Larissa Santella, with distinction. Dominique M. Lewis. Stephanie Lynn Hicka, with distinction. Samantha Gentile. Paige Ann Porta, with distinction. Robert J. Santander. Danielle E. Mosenti, with distinction. Danielle Nicole Morano, with distinction. Samantha R. Corsi. Afua London. Amanda Kyriakos. Naomi Diaz Perez, with distinction. Lily Ann Marie Whalen, with distinction. Anita Pocoy. Marissa R. Lehner. Megan J. Brandt. Jenna Sinkina, with distinction. Lorna Patricia Campbell. Christina Mahoney, with distinction. Emily Rose Guerra. Francesca Cleanne Joseph. Julian Torres, with distinction. Lauren A. Palumbo, with distinction. Priscilla Martinez. Chrislyn Noel Nolan. Janilda Martinez, with distinction. Cristalina Padilla, with distinction. Kalini Esconvento, with distinction. Maria Isabel Gonzalez, with distinction. Gayatri Rajendra Prasad. Deanna Eleanor Schiavone, with distinction. Amber Tamitha Mohabir, with distinction. Shakiria C. Whitfield, with distinction. Kathleen Paniagua. Arlie Marilee Perez Ramirez, with distinction.
Giselle Flores, with distinction.
Rosemary Tovar. Jessica R. Lawrence, with distinction.
Jordan Suleiman.
Donna M. York, with distinction. Evelyn Bustamante, with distinction. Elizabeth C. Correa, with distinction. Ashley N. Layton, with distinction. Christiana N. Blanks, with distinction. Stephanie T. Castro. Melanda Odetta McKenzie. Cynthia Padro. Christina Dresslick. Alyssa Marie Pagano, with distinction. Ashley Wellington, with distinction. Hudia Hassan, with distinction. Jonathan Fetter. Fallon Perez Burgos. Madeline David, with distinction. Yarlin Lopez. Elena Lambru Babu, with distinction. Althea Jessica Salmon Robinson, with distinction. Yesenia C. Ortega. Ashley Lynn Palmietto, with distinction. Monique D. Henry. Gitel St. Victor. Fernando Caxire, with distinction. Elizabeth Cuevas, with distinction. Victoria Benvenuto. Caitlin M. Tennety. Alexandra Sharon Borsella, with distinction. Kayla Reese, with distinction. Alexandra Gianalone. Zachary Robert Melianakis. Agia Ariana Brown Beebe, with distinction. Ellen Michelle Ibarra, cum laude. Alexia Foster. Melissa Contreras, with distinction. Alyssa D'Angelo Lilo, with distinction.
Suzette Kimio, with distinction.
Stephen Mazzara, with distinction. Elisha Mayo, with distinction. Ellen Enderes. Don J. Castro, with distinction. Gabriela Lee Pacheco, with distinction. Nicole Brooke Erico, with distinction. Nicole Daly. Carmen Duncan, with distinction. Tarana Chowdhury, with distinction. Robert W. Crosby. Islaine Lizmarie Dominguez, with distinction.
At this time, I would like to, no, I apologize. Congratulations to all of our graduates from the School of Education. Now, thank you. Now it is time to recognize the candidates from the School of Liberal Arts. President Parrish, I have the distinct pleasure and privilege to present those students who have been certified by the registrar and the faculty as having completed all the requirements as established by the state of New York for awarding the following degrees: Master of Science, Master of Arts, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Associate of Arts, Associate of Science. At this time, I ask Dr. Andres Matias Ortiz, Associate Dean of the School of Liberal Arts, to call the candidates forward to receive their degrees. Dr. Matias Ortiz, please.
Already here. Thank you, Dr. Fernandez. At this time, we will recognize the candidates for graduate degrees from the School of Liberal Arts. Congratulations, graduates.
Conrad Motika, with distinction. Naveen Rawat, with distinction. Justin Robert Glenister. Damilola Elizabeth Olatunde, with distinction. Troy Xavier Douglas Adams. Brendan Downey, with distinction. Wayne Cowell. Eduardo F. Almonte. Victoria Greco Guanais. Robin Rye, with distinction. Claudia Arias, with distinction. Ty Lassane, with distinction. Esteban Figueroa, with distinction. Hasna Ben Zekri, with distinction.
It is my further pleasure to recognize the candidates for undergraduate degrees from the School of Liberal Arts. Congratulations, graduates.
Stephanie Lopez. Raquel L. Acapana. Hannah Priscille Perez. Enrique Gonzalez, cum laude. Allison Sadalanti. Stephen Anthony Thompson. Philip Roger Molinelli. Amadou Berry. Ricardo Baez. Mireya Sanchez. Naima Sakina Saunders. Bernice Miles. Christopher Ryan Costello. Arnold Ciprian Tilihoy, with distinction. Kofi Duodu, with distinction. Montana Isla Sandoval, magna cum laude. Samaria Yvette Amadeo, summa cum laude. Sky Anne Marie Harper, magna cum laude. Daniel Cruz. Manuel Isidro Coronel, summa cum laude. Marcos Oglivy, cum laude. Albert Adrian Lara. Anthony M. Valero, magna cum laude. Camilo J. Ruiz, cum laude. Julian A. Scott. Aiden Julian Scheffler. Mariana Vanessa Perez, cum laude. Jared Hernandez, cum laude.
Tara Nicole Sheehan, summa cum laude.
Amanda Musajen Mzoski, magna cum laude. Julius Udochi. Preston H. Bittaker, cum laude. Jose L. Wezyoga, magna cum laude. Bryce Salon Wortham. Lucas Doran McWilliam, cum laude. Samuel Michael Odell. Peyton Christopher Genus. Janaya Jasmine Ford, cum laude. Hashem N. Gurama, cum laude. Justin Keith Brogel, summa cum laude. Brian Castillo, summa cum laude. Ashley Flores, summa cum laude. Melissa Ann Mazarakis, cum laude. Danielle Marie Lembo, cum laude. Nyla B. Green, summa cum laude. Kyla Johnson Bustamante, summa cum laude. Kelsey Winiarski, magna cum laude. Lucas P. Lima, summa cum laude. Mirtha Gabriela Bernal. Jose Alfredo Carpio Beltran, summa cum laude. Madeline Bazina, magna cum laude. Michael Mills. Malik Omari Monroe, magna cum laude. Lauren Feliciano. Winnie Castillo. Nicholas David Hewitt. Justin Keith Moody, summa cum laude. Rachel Angeles. Victor Manuel Colon Jr. Ladian Ismalai, magna cum laude. Arnisa Bufai. Mahesh A. Jackson, summa cum laude. Azaria Williams. Abril Jaslyn Mejia. Tyra Aliyah Anderson, magna cum laude. Jaylene Yoli Hernandez. Zenobi Duncombe. Victor Manzano. Kanchana Lakshmi Iyer, cum laude. William Lopez, with distinction. Victoria Pineda, cum laude. Stephanie Melissa Pacheco, summa cum laude. Joshua Emmanuel Ochoa Diaz, summa cum laude. Nikola Teodorov Alexandrov. Carmen M. Amandano. Leon Campbell. Michael Idosa. Marvin A. Darko, with distinction. Edith V. Perez. Nancy L. Kispi Tenezaka. Gustavo Garcia. Miguel Alonso Salas Diaz. Karina Rocha. Eric T. Castillo Calderon, summa cum laude. Dean Azulay, magna cum laude. Daniel Matthew DePrincio. David J. Rochford, magna cum laude. Lucas Parados, magna cum laude. Brian Stephen Jaramillo, cum laude. Stephen David Jaramillo. Edwin D. Gonzalez, cum laude. Jairi Y. Cedillo. Alana Lee Spina. Yairis Ramos. George Hernandez. Dean Vincent Caputo. Thomas Louis Perillo, magna cum laude. Andrew Paul Calabria. Victoria Nicole Feliciano, summa cum laude. Akili Lisimba Green. Sebastian Morel Rodriguez. Shalini Joman, magna cum laude. Miriam Clara Taylor. Joseph Cordones, magna cum laude. Angel Rodriguez. Angel Jose Garcia, cum laude. Dorothy Denise Spence.
I would like to take a moment at this time to recognize a posthumous degree that is being awarded this year to Dorothy Spence. Ms. Spence received a Bachelor of Science degree in Clinical Laboratory Science. I ask that you join me in a moment of silence in Dorothy's memory. Thank you. President Parrish.
All right, the moment we've all been waiting for. Graduates, please stand. You look amazing. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the State of New York and our Mercy University Board of Trustees, I formally confer upon each of you the appropriate degree that you have successfully completed. So do your thing and turn your tassels from the right to the left. Family, friends, faculty, staff, congratulations to the class of 2024. Let's give them another big round of applause. As you begin the next phase of your life, please stay connected. You are now one of more than 75,000 Mercy Maverick alumni, and we will always be home for you. We can't wait to see what you do and where you go. Stay with us. Congratulations again.
Thank you, President Parrish. I ask that the audience remain in place until the platform party recessional is complete. Congratulations, enhorabuena, members of the class of 2024, and best wishes for an enjoyable summer and a very rewarding future. This concludes the 89th commencement exercises of Mercy University. Congratulations, Mavs.